In today's video, we're going to talk about something that might offend some people, might make some people mad. It is certainly outside the normal content topics of this channel, but I really think it's something that needs to be said, and I can't not say it any longer. And as I make this video, by the way, it is September the 17th, 2019, 232 years ago, from 1787, what I think is one of the greatest documents mankind has ever produced, which set in motion the greatest form and system of government in human history, was signed, the United States Constitution. This is Constitution Day, and that's what's coming up next here on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose, your home for information and gear reviews related to camping, survival, and general preparedness for regular folks, usually. This, however, is not one of those times. So as I said, this is Constitution Day, 232 years ago, I think it was. 232 years ago in 1787, the United States Constitution was signed. That is, in my opinion, one of the greatest documents of human creation ever, and it set in motion the greatest forms of government ever in the history of mankind. And I think that the framework and the foundation for that is found in the first three words of the Constitution: we the people. So as I said, this video is probably going to make some people mad. It's probably going to offend some people. It may cost me some subscribers, but I really felt like it needs to be said, and I thought no better time to say it than on Constitution Day. So I've got some notes, so I'll try to minimize the rambling. I'm going to try to keep this to a clear, concise little rant and get it over with. But as I said, the first three words of the Constitution are we the people. Not we the government, not they the government, not the Congress, not the president, we the people. And I think that's very, very important, and something that we have sort of lost sight of in recent times, is that people tend to look at the government as this separate, autonomous entity which will provide us with things and tell us what we are and are not allowed to do. And that is absolutely not the way our government was created or intended to function. We the people are the caretakers of this system, and we elected employees to administer and manage things that on our behalf. That's the way it's supposed to work. Now, I hear people calling our elected leaders. They are not our leaders. They are our employees. We got to get that mindset shift, because words mean things. And the government, there's no such thing as government property. It is public property. I'm going off on a tangent, so I'll stop. But I think that is a very crucial, critical mindset that's very important to make that distinction. And I think that we are at a critical junction in our country and in our nation because of that mindset shift that seems to have taken place, whether intentionally or unintentionally. There are those that think everything is a conspiracy, and there are those that think everything is gravy. I'm somewhere probably in the middle. I think there are certainly people who have ulterior motives. There are also people who are just plain selfish and greedy and want to get what they can for themselves. So both of those people seem to be very prevalent in elected employee positions. Let me just say a couple things real quickly. First of all, in light of some of the recent current events that are going on in the U.S. and the changes that people are asking to be made, and that people are, the news media and the mainstream medias are saying need to be made, and the politicians, many of them are saying that need to be made. First of all, our Constitution does not authorize the infringement of our rights or the amendment of the constitutional protection of those rights through legislative fiat or votes. So they're not allowed, by the way, by us the people, and under the framework of the Constitution, to go in and just raise their hand and say yay or nay and change the Constitution and change or minimize any of our God-given rights. And I think that's one other thing. Let me just mention that the Constitution does not authorize or grant us our rights. It is very clear in the Bill of Rights, the amendments, that these rights that we have are inalienable. They are given to us by our Creator. We have them merely as a function of being alive on this planet. What the Constitution does, it guarantees that we the people collectively will not create anything in our system, in our government, that infringes or minimizes upon those rights. So in other words, they cannot prohibit the exercise of those. We don't have to have permission from the government or from each other, really, to exercise those rights. Those are just our rights as human beings. And so I think that's something that really needs to be said louder and louder and more clearly in this current debate over what we're going to do about guns or about all these other things. Our rights as a human, including those of us who haven't been born yet, are not usurpable by fiat or legislative decree or executive action or anything else. Neither the president nor Congress has the constitutional authority to make those sort of changes and those sort of dictates and decrees. Maybe that offends you, maybe not. If it doesn't, this next part probably will. So let me just say a couple things that I've really been thinking about. First of all, if you have ever written a Facebook post or a YouTube comment giving your opinion about why this is wrong or that's wrong or they should do this or they should do that or we shouldn't have this or they got to do this, but you have never taken the time to write or call your elected employee and tell them what you think they should do, shame on you. That's what I say. Shame on you. And I don't want to hear any excuses about why you don't know this, you don't know that. I made a video a few weeks ago about how to contact your elected employees. Very, very detailed, very simple, exactly how to find out who your employees are if you don't know, and exactly how to get in touch with them. The video will be linked right up here. So there's no excuses. If you're unwilling to do that, then shame on you. Second, if you call yourself a patriot, but you don't vote, you've never registered to vote, or you are registered and you don't vote, then shame on you. And I hear, whenever I say that, I get the comments, oh, this is all rigged anyway. You're living in a dream. The system's rigged. There's nothing you can do. It's worthless. If enough people in what is now America had said that and thought that about 240 years ago, we'd still be bowing to the Queen and calling crackers biscuits. That is exactly what those who would limit and usurp and take advantage of your rights and put themselves in as your rulers and your masters and your leaders, or maybe those who would just like, you know what, we just want to keep getting all we can for ourselves at the expense of all of us. That's exactly what they want you to do. That plays right into their hands and their strategy. So if that's you, shame on you. And finally, I got to say this. If you're one of the people that is saying, well, our President Trump has not, he's failed us on this, he's done that, so we're going to bail on him and we're going to vote for a third party, we're going to make a statement. You got your head in the sand. Because the reality is, all those people whose ideas conflict with yours, they're going to vote as one unified party. If we don't do that, and I'm with you, I agree that the president has let us down on a lot of issues. The Republican Party has let us down on a lot of issues, no doubt about it. But where we are right now, in my opinion, is so critical that you got to put that aside. You got to put that aside, and we got to all band together and be unified. Period. I mean, a house divided cannot stand. I really believe that with all my heart. So that's really the driving force behind my decision to make this video, is the fact that I think it is that important. So anyway, maybe that's offended you. I hope not. But if you're still here, I would suggest that you have a few choices now. Choice number one, you can just say that guy's a beep, 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 and hit that unsubscribe button and stick your head back in the sand and completely forget me. That's choice number one. Choice number two is you can hit that caps lock and tell me what a beep, 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 beep I am and why you're going to unsubscribe, and hit that unsubscribe button and go off on Facebook and rant about it. Or you have another choice. You can decide that you're going to take a stand for liberty. You're going to get engaged in the process. You're going to write and call your elected employees and tell them what you want them to do, whether you think it's going to help or not. You're going to go ahead and just do it anyway, because it certainly cannot hurt. And you're going to make sure you're registered to vote. You're going to get out there and vote. Obviously, I hope you will join me in taking a stand for liberty. My name's Brian. You're watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival is not an accident, so be prepared. I'll see you next time, if you're still here.